Hey, I'm Wendy, and this is my series, Love, Loss, and Lipstick. I do it live every week on Facebook, and then I share it on my YouTube channel because Facebook will delete this after 30 days. I'm getting ready for work, so putting on my makeup, and when I'm done with that, then today's episode will be finished. Trying to remember where I left off. This is part 16 of my love story. And so my husband had been home, we had an earthquake, Nashville had an ice storm, all the natural disasters at one time, and then he ended up going back. So he was able to seal the deal with our friend's neighbor who had the house right next door to them, and we were going to rent it. So to me, that meant it was time for me to go. And he's like, no, it needs a lot of work. And of course, he wanted it to be perfect before I came so that I would be happy. And I thought, you know, he didn't know if I was going to like living in Nashville. And I said, let me at least try. And you know what? If I don't like it, we can always come back to California. Not true. Not true. Going the other way would be really difficult because Nashville at the time was so affordable and California was not. Anyways, he had been doing a bunch of work on the house, and he had our friends next door for some moral support, food and drinks, and all that good stuff. So that made me feel good that, you know, because he was there by himself. I was working as much as I could, being the single mom, doing all the things, telling my clients that I was going to be leaving. They were tired of hearing about it. It had been a long time. I'd been telling them I was leaving, and they were starting to not believe me. But Steve kept putting me off. You know, I'm like, okay, can we come now? Can we come now? And he's like, no, not yet, not yet. And finally I thought, you know what? August would be 2 years since he left. And I thought, I'm not gonna hit that milestone. Also, after we filed the bankruptcy, we stopped making our mortgage payments. And I thought, I sure as hell I'm not gonna be there when we get evicted or they deliver the notice or the foreclosure or whatever was gonna happen. I mean, I felt like a squatter in my own house. It was awful. And I know it was on his mind, but he wasn't living in it. So I made the decision that we were coming May 15th, booked our flights. Didn't have to sell the house. I mean, it was still for sale, but nothing was happening. I had to find some movers. I found the most reasonably priced movers that I could find because moving across the country is not cheap. I had to pack up the house by myself and work and be the mom, do all the things, but at least I knew there was a day, May 15th. So my mom was going to come with us for some moral support. I had never left. I had never really moved away. Certainly never moved out of state before. Marin and I did the farewell tour. Got together with all my friends, went and did all the things for the last time. And the day came and we were ready. We were ready to go. Marin did fine on the flight this time. Like I said, I had my mom with me. And I did pretty well until we landed. And then the tears came. I was just, you know, feeling all the things. I was nervous, I was scared, I was relieved, I was happy, I was sad. All the things. The flight attendant said, oh, welcome to Music City, Nashville. And I was like, oh. And then I knew It was just going to be a few minutes until I saw Steve. It had been 21 months that he had been gone, and we saw him 3 times. So in almost 2 years. And I just really wanted to be together. And then there was another plane at our gate, and so we had to sit there. It was like teasing me. We were so close, but still not that close. Anyways, we got there, we got off the plane. Steve was there to greet us. Hallelujah, all the things. The movers got a head start. They left a few days before I did with all of our belongings, except for I was still gonna be there before them. But, so we didn't have any furniture. We didn't have anything in the house yet. So Steve was going to, he booked us a motel to stay in just for a couple nights till we could get our things. So there was a restaurant in the parking lot that he took us to. It's called Cracker Barrel. Of course, I had never heard of it before. And so that was my first meal in Tennessee when we got here. We drove by where the movers, the hotel that they were staying in that night, and the truck was there, so we knew our stuff had gotten to Tennessee. That was a relief. We went the next day to start unpacking, and it was so great to see my friends, Jim and Regina, right next door. Steve was super excited for me to see the house. It was this beautiful brick home. It was an older house, but it was right on the lake, and the setting was gorgeous. The yard was huge with geese and everything. I mean, it was unbelievable. We were so lucky. There had been a mold issue in the basement that she had taken care of, and we agreed that the big ticket items that she would take care of for us, and we would do all the work, and we would, she said, if we really liked it, maybe we could buy it, but we would cross that bridge later. She originally thought she would be coming back after she retired, but she wasn't sure. She thought maybe it might be too much house for her. But for the time being, it was ours, and it was fabulous. There were no stores close by. My friends next door, Jim and Regina, the nearest Home Depot was down in another city called Madison. It was like 8 miles away. So as far as like running quick to the store to get more paint or to, that wasn't a thing. Mom and I went to Walmart, which too was not really close. It was not as far as Home Depot, but it certainly wasn't close. It was not in Hendersonville. Well, it kind of was, but it was on the outskirts, down in an area called Rivergate. Never been to a Walmart before. And so that was something. I'm like, oh my gosh, they have groceries and they have housewares and they have clothing, car parts. I had never seen anything like that. So Walmart was an experience. And I had to laugh at one point. The lady came over the intercom speaker with like some kind of announcement. And Mom and I just looked at each other, didn't understand a word she said. It sounded like a different language. She was so Southern. Thought, wow, this is going to be interesting. I didn't realize that I might not understand people talking. But so we did our Walmart run, and that was an adventure. And we were getting things, just getting settled in. And so that was good. I wanted to find a job as quickly as I could, but I was going to have to figure things out, like daycare and all the logistics. I just didn't know. I didn't know where to go look for a job. I didn't know any salons. I didn't really know anything except for I really thought with my experience in coming from Los Angeles area that I could probably work anywhere I wanted. So I thought I want to find a really expensive salon in the Nashville area. And I thought, you know, that's where I would look. In the meantime, neighbors came over and introduced themselves. They were so friendly. Somebody brought us a pineapple upside down cake, which was delicious. The welcome wagon lady came. Her name was Debbie. Everybody in town knew Debbie. She came to welcome us and brought us a gift with all kinds of stuff in it. And told me about some women's clubs that I could join to meet people. And it was an experience. I had never experienced that all the times. I mean, I hadn't moved that much, but with Steve, we had already moved twice in California and never had a welcome wagon show up. So it was really nice. And I thought, okay, you know, it's a nice community. I started going to some salons, looking for possibly, you know, a job. Applied at a few places in town. One place, they wouldn't even give me the time of day. And then I found out that they don't have any female stylists. So that would have been good to know up front. And a few other places that were willing to hire me, but I just wasn't getting the vibe that I wanted. My mom had stayed an extended stay, which was so nice, and it was time for her to go. And I decided that I would reach out to the salon in California and see if they would rent me my chair just a few days a week. I really needed to know that when I was going back to California, like before my mom left, I needed to know like when I'd see her again. So anyways, it wasn't a rental salon, but they said they would do that. And I had, you know, my clients, and I thought, wow, you know, I could go there and I could work a week and I could make enough money to pay for the trip and make some extra money, and I'd be able to write everything off. And so that's what I was gonna do. So I did go back that first time. Mom left and I was okay. Got through, you know, a few weeks, and then I went back to California and I worked a week and got to see, you know, my friends and my family. Took Marin with me, of course. She was getting to be, you know, a better flyer. She was older, so that was good. And I decided every 6 weeks I would go back. And when I was there that first time, I was talking to my coworkers, but my one of the salon owners, Barbara, I had worked at this salon for about 10 years. It was the only salon I ever worked at. And Barbara, I told her, you know, what I was planning and what I was looking for and where I was applying. And she was like, you know, I really think you need to stay close to home. She said, stay in your little community, do the teacher's hair, do Marin's friend's mom's hair, and just, you know, be close to home. And that way, when she's in school, if there's ever an emergency or she gets sick, you'll be close enough where you can run and you won't be, you know, downtown or have to deal with traffic and, you know, all the things. And so it made so much sense. And I thought, okay, that's what I'm going to do. So when I was home, I started going to these women's group events, and There was even a community pool. And one of my friends, might have been Regina, I don't remember, who took me the first time. Somebody, you know, or maybe I got to go because we were new to town. I don't remember. All I know is I went to the pool. But everywhere that I went, I was asking people if they had, you know, a cute haircut, like, oh, where do you get your hair done? Where do you get your hair done? And I found out really quickly that Miracles in Hendersonville was the salon. And everybody that I met, almost everybody, went there. And of course, they were all established with their hairstylists. But I thought, okay, that's where I'm gonna work. And I told Steve, okay, I decided where I'm gonna work. He's like, well, aren't you putting all your eggs in one basket? And I said, I am. That's all I mean, that's the only basket I need. So I went and applied, and the owners were a girl named Leslie and Andrea. And they didn't need anybody, and they didn't really have room for anybody. But luckily for me, Andrea was like, okay, you know, she told her partner, me being from California and being from Los Angeles, that I would be an asset and that they needed to find space for me. And I did tell them I was going back to California every 6 weeks. I would be gone for a week. And they were okay with that. It was a commission salon, so it was good that I didn't have any clients. I didn't have to worry about paying rent. I mean, I wasn't gonna make any money without any clients, but at least I didn't have an overhead. So that was a good place, a good way for me to get started. So I had a job. We had visitors come see us. My cousin Jeff, one of my cousins who introduced me and Steve, he and his son came and visited, and that was nice to have some family. We went to Opryland. We had an amusement park back then. Took the kids. That was a good time. And then one of my friends from the salon came and visited, she and her husband, and that was really great to get to show them around. The only problem was I wasn't feeling very well, but I got through the weekend, and I was a little bit nervous about how I was feeling. And I told Steve, he's like, do you need to take a pregnancy test? And I'm like, no. Because I thought if I didn't know, that maybe it wouldn't happen. So anyways, I'm done. I gotta go to work. Can't forget my setting spray. It's gazillion degrees and humidity. Don't want this to melt off if I don't cry it off. So anyways, thanks for tuning in today, and I will be back next week. And if you missed this, or if it, you come in late, everything is on my YouTube channel, Wendy Angus. Bye.